just direct you guys to this. So this week, I had someone who I follow on Instagram. He posted, and I'm going to read his post. It's 4 pictures of white men with black women. And these are, these aren't ambiguously black women or interracial women. These are, or biracial women, excuse me. These, for all intents and purposes, seem to be black women. Now, I don't know black of what specific tribe of black, but whatever. In the post, he wrote, not to take a shot at interracial relationships, but here's the God honest truth about this. If black men don't get their shit together, this is what the next generation will look like. Black men, start appreciating your women more. Black men, do what's best for the relationship and not just for yourself. A lot of black men have the tendency of doing the best for themselves in a damn relationship with a woman. Shaking my head. Like, bro, how in the world is that even possible? Simply stated, if we as black men don't get our act together, we'll be alone for real in the next few years. Our women has had enough. Ooh, Joe, English. Our women have had enough with the bullshit that most of us are coming with. Peeps, if y'all feel different about this, sound the fuck off. Now, I didn't necessarily I don't even know what to and why this topic has come up around me so much this week, but I figured if it is, there's obviously some point of sharing and discussion perhaps, and we're going to make it a short discussion on why this is becoming a thing. And not even a thing, because let's be honest, this is not becoming a thing, but like, why is this conversation coming up? So I had the opportunity to guest on a upcoming episode of another podcast, and it has not been released as of yet, but I will be on an upcoming episode of the Awakened Soul podcast, and there will be further information on that to come. But the reason why I bring that up is one of the topics we discussed was in light of an article that was sent to me in regards to an experiment that was being done, and this experiment was being performed, and it's one of very few experiments that could actually be documented, but basically to study whether or not black women and black men, just the titles, just that title alone, is there an implied bias that takes place when you hear just the term black man or black women or black woman. And what I mean by that is some of the people in the experiment would be asked a question like, when you hear the term black man, what do you think? And, some of the answers were like strong, independent, powerful leader. When you hear the term, oppression or whatever, what do you think? And it's like, black man has to struggle and and whatever. And, just all these implied biases that you wouldn't even think come into play when it is in regards to how we even choose a mate. And when we choose a mate, what are the leniencies that we give or the lack thereof just because of the implied term black man. So at any rate, one of the questions in that post, I commented that as far as I'm concerned, I don't I recently have adopted the whole idea of not having a particular standard that I am forcing black men to that is different than what I would force any other man into. You know what I mean? Like, if just because the implied statement is I'm dating a white man, does that mean that there's an implied bias of he's going to take care of me more, he's going to do for me more? I'm going to have a different expectation because he is of this race and not of that race. Now, let's tell the truth and shame the devil. You know, a lot of times, and this is kind of the conversations that we tend to have when it's just, we just at the kitchen table talking, like with your homie or whatever. But you know, that kind of, I need to get me a good old white man who's going to front these bills, bitch. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And yes, let's not act like, you know, there isn't that implied bias, or I'm going to get me a sugar daddy. You know, what does that look like to you? You know, or I'm going to get me a nigga, I'm going to get me trade. You know what that looks like. You know what I'm saying. Yeah, you do. So are the labels that we're even moving with when it comes to relation, are those labels even impeding us? Now, the person who wrote that post basically said that my question was, is the assumption that the black woman's intention is to, because one of the things that he noted is that black women are going to start dating white men if black men don't get their shit together. So my question also was, do you think that the intention is that I'm going to seek a mate just because of your bad behavior? Because intention is everything. So even the intention that you're choosing a mate with, if your intention choosing a mate is to stick it to somebody else, that's a relationship. You ain't got to worry about whether or not they black or white. The shit ain't going to work. Because intention is everything. So my thing to him was, the fact that you would even assume that black women choosing to date whomever they want is some sort of backlash to brothers dating interracially or to brothers treating us bad. I mean, we're living in oftentimes, depending on a certain age and where you're from, we're living in the same neighborhoods. We're working in the same professional atmosphere. We're socializing a lot of times in the same places. So you meet who you meet, depending on even on a social level where you choose to be. This led to this black man telling me that I need to date outside my standards. And I was like, what in the fuck are you talking about? Right? Because my standards, and what he did say to me, the read, was that he was like, you probably need to date outside your standards since your standards of black men have failed you. Now, I had to, check him. I was checking a lot of the girls this week, but I had to, basically let him know that my standards haven't failed me. Okay? My standards are not what's failed me. My lack thereof perhaps are what's failed me. But any relationship that I've had, if the ending of that relationship means failure, then my own thoughts are actually what's failed me. The ending of a relationship does not connotate failure. It connotates transition. It connotates next, not what you left behind. So basically my thing is, I need to date men that I'm not attracted to in order to get my needs met. Like his thing to me was, just like how black men, they just going after like big butts and big titties and all this other stuff. Like he just needs to change his standard and go after something else. Like, okay, so I should go after someone that I'm perhaps not really attracted to just so I can, get treated better. If that's also my intent, that's harmful. I think that people need to just date with intention and socialize with intention. If your standards are different for black man versus any other man, then therein lies the problem. Or black woman versus any other woman. Yes, there are a level of things that we're going to have shared because we might be of the same race, but we could be from different ethnic groups, and that changed the game up between us all herein. So, I don't know. It was very annoying to me, and I just was like, oh, please. Like, I get it, but, like, no one's out here dating. No one's out here dating to get back at anybody. Listen, if the 2010s didn't teach you anything, intention means everything. Listen, you know who's a success story this decade? I'll tell you who. Cassie. Cassie is a success story, honey. Okay? Listen, if she can leave Diddy and find her love, her light, and her baby, we should all be so blessed. All right? We should all be so blessed to find our light. All right, last but not least, and who in the hell left the gate open? Did y'all know that Common and Angela Rye broke up? And did y'all know that Tiffany Haddish is allegedly dating Common? That's weird. Speaking of another success story. Now, to me, when I heard about Angela Rye and Common, I just thought to myself, perfect. It don't get no more perfect. It don't get more perfecter. Okay? That's a couple that I see it for. Now, the CNN 40-year-old political commentator, and I did put her age in there because she looks amazing, an all-around bad bitch, dropped a new image this week via Instagram with her and her alleged new boo, restaurateur Kareem Webb. Now, apparently, her and Common wanted different things, and this is one of the reasons why I'm sharing this story with you, because to live in a world where you can forego what may be great right now to chase what you believe is your higher purpose, that's what it's about. So apparently she said that she wants kids and she wanted, marriage and a lot of things that Common just probably did not want. And she said Common, who has a daughter who is actually currently in law school, he was not really wanting to start over from the standpoint of kids. So she said she totally understood. There's no hard feelings. They remain good friends and that they've moved on. And they have moved on since September. Way to keep y'all business personal, too. But I think that that's a great note to end on. Everybody could be looking from the outside thinking like, oh my God, that job is perfect. You guys make total sense. This is so perfect for you. Or this guy or this girl or this relationship or whatever. All of these things seem so perfect for you. Stick in there. Everyone would be looking at you like, I wouldn't make that decision if I were you. I would stick with what I know. But sometimes in order for you to take a step up, you sometimes have to take a step back and look at the entire picture and say to yourself, you know what? If this might be great for me now, but if my desire says that I want something more or there is a higher purpose here for me that might mean some evolving out of this relationship and into new things in order for me to get to that higher purpose, I am willing to sacrifice what looks good now for what is great later. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to go set this table real quick. We're going to come on back, baby. All right, and we are back, baby. So I figured what would be fitting for our last time together in 2019 is for us to power up together to get ready for 2020. Now, I know I expressed to you earlier on in the show that I don't know what it is, but I just have such a light vibration about 2020. Like, I don't know about you, but I just feel like I can already see just kind of this abundance happening. I can already feel what that feels like. Like I could already feel the sun just kind of basking on me. Like it just feels warm. It feels like health. It feels like strength. It feels like positive mindsets. It feels like just a great vibration, success. It feels like I'm going to be able to manifest all of these things, right? So I wanted to teach you about manifesting, but not just to teach you about it, but to teach you how to manifest, right? So manifestation or the power of manifestation is something that we hear about often.